Okay, now to marketing. Just a few opening thoughts and I'm sure that, I'm sure marketing is new to a lot of you. You maybe haven't studied it before, but we come across it every day, everywhere. We watch TV, we see billboards, we see the buses driving by with marketing messages, and subconsciously we probably all do marketing as well. Obviously, as it says here, the goal of marketing is long-term satisfaction. And this is for the organization, because obviously they make money, they get customers, they retain customers, they get new customers, it's good for their image, it's good for their brand, so it's good for the overall organization. But obviously it's also long-term satisfaction for the organization's customers, because if you have the right product or service, your customers are going to buy it, they're going to adopt it, they're going to want it, and they are going to be happy in the long term as well, as long as everything goes well, as long as you're presenting them with the right message, and as long as you're doing your ethical bit as well, which we will be talking about further on in this marketing module. And this, as Drucker says, is because the purpose of business is to create and keep customers, as I just said, either new customers or retain your existing customers. It has only two central functions, marketing and innovation. The basic function of marketing is to attract and retain customers at a profit. So you want to market your existing products. However, if you do realize that your consumers or customers are going somewhere else for a similar or a better product, obviously you have to be innovative and come up with either a better version of your already existing product or with a new product or service to offer to your customer. Okay, the basic marketplace is between a supplier and a customer, and the marketplace obviously brings suppliers and customers together. You supply your service, you supply your product, and the customer buys it or uses your service as well. So that's a simple version of the marketplace. Provision of goods and the demand for these goods. So supply and demand. Marketing basically means it's a management process. Giving customers what they want, you have to listen to your customers. In order to find out what your customers want, you have to do market research and marketing research. And again, in next week's lesson, this is what we're going to talk about. You have to identify and anticipate what your people want and what's good for you as well. Is it about profit? It's a question. It should be about profit within your organization, but what do you do if you have a niche product or niche service? Again, is it about profit? Do you put more money into your marketing effort than you're actually getting back? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? If you're losing more money than you're making, surely there's something not right. And it's an exchange of goods, ideas, services, and money. If we look at the history of marketing, it starts quite early in the 18th century, where it's just, where Adam Smith talks about the wealth of nations and how do we live and how do we spend our money and what do we do. It then goes into the AIDA principle. I don't know if you heard of it, but it's and the AIDA principle stands for attention, interest, desire, and action. Basically drawing the attention to your product or service, getting your customers' interest, first of all, and then the desire to either use your service or own the product. And if you think of 1898, it was probably more product related than service related. So it's the desire to own the product. And the last point, the last A, action, is actually the action of purchasing the product. But again, we go through that more in one of the later lessons. And then it goes on, and so if you look at 1920, for example, you've got the principles of marketing, how to market, what's important about marketing. 1949, Neil Borden, Elements of the Marketing Mix, and we go through that in a while, a bit more. And if you then look at further down, like the 1990s, it's not just looking at marketing from an organization's perspective, but also from a customer's perspective. Because nowadays we say what we want rather than just organizations providing what we want, or what we think we want, or what they think we want, and then us buying it. Then you've got relationship marketing. You want to retain your customers. You've got to give this extra. And then you've got the 11 C's of relationship marketing. And I'm going through some of these now in a little while in a bit more detail as well. Again, if you then look at the development of the marketing concept, it goes from production orientation down to relationship marketing or customer relationship marketing, which is basically the same thing. And it goes, you've got then product orientation, sales, consumer, not-for-profit, social marketing, services. And then in the 1980s, this is where it goes from all being product oriented to also services marketing, because nowadays you know how important it is to have services and to have maybe supplementary services to your product as well. And we all work in the service industry, and if we, for example, are not happy as the outward facing person of an organization, that reflects on our customers as well. How do we market our products and services now? There's a lot of social media applications, integrated marketing. Again, we're talking about this a bit later, that you use all parts of your organization for marketing, not just the marketing department. Word of mouth is one of the most important marketing tools. Facebook, we all know, we probably all have a Facebook account, or most of us have, and if we don't like something, we tell people. And most of us have quite a few friends on Facebook as well, and if we post something on our wall, all our friends know about it, and a lot of them probably comment about it as well. So there's a lot of social networking sites that are very important for marketing, for us as consumers to voice our opinions, and for obviously businesses to catch their customers. Now, if we go back now to the development of the marketing concept, as I said before, in the 1930s it was all production oriented. There wasn't that much choice, and if people wanted it, people would buy it, even if they could afford it, even though it might not have met their requirements 100%. But it's because there was the demand, there wasn't that much supply there. And if you think about nowadays what choices we have, these choices weren't there in the 1930s. In the 1940s, it was product orientation. So rather than just producing something, people then started looking at their product and said, oh, how do I have to modify my product so that my customers want it? So products had added features or better features, so that not just a certain amount of the market would be satisfied, but the more people would buy the product. Then in the 1950s it was all about sales, where you had more supply than demand. And this is, if you think about post-war, people starting to have a bit more disposable income as well, and also you could sell anything to anyone. Okay? And you had to get rid of everything that was extra, your surplus products. And then it started with personal selling and advertising, which was very important, having a respectable salesperson on your team. was very important. Yeah, then in the 1960s came the consumer orientation. We know what we want now, and in the 60s people started to say, you know, we want value for money. We're not just buying anything, and we're not just using an organization just because it's there. If we don't, if people then didn't get what they wanted, they would switch suppliers. It was then also people started looking at the needs and wants of their consumers, and this is where segmentation came in, where the consumers were divided into certain groups, whether they were married, singles, men, women, certain age groups, where they lived, how they lived, did they have children, and yeah, and then obviously products were developed to supply these groups. And nowadays this is what they do. Companies marketing, they look at their segments, they're targeting certain segments. And if you want to watch TV nowadays in the mornings, afternoons or evenings, or certain different channels, you can see that the advertising, for example in the morning TV, is very much aimed at women staying at home, and the products they're selling is aimed at women staying at home, maybe looking after the children. And in the evenings, if you have Sky and you have channel Dave, which is a very male oriented channel, for example, there's a lot of advertising there that are aimed at men, and obviously a certain age group as well. So they're probably younger men between, I don't know, mid-20s and 40. So again, these adverts are aimed at those people. In the 70s, it started, you know, the whole issue of society and sustainability, and looking at the long-term sustainability of their products. You don't just want to sell it today, you want to sell it for a while. Again, consumerism, you know, everything was easily and more readily available. And then you also had the not-for-profit and charities marketing. 1980s was the time of the services marketing, which means not all products are tangible, can be seen. I can buy a table, I can look at the table and say I want this because I like it, but how do you market a service? So, you know, so for example, if you look at banking, travel, or any hospitality services, how do you market those? How do you market your, you know, your bed, your comfortable environment in a hotel, your customer service? Then in the 1990s and 2000, you had relationship marketing. So it's not just a single transaction where the consumer buys something and then never comes back, but it's all about the aftercare. What extras do you offer? How do you make sure that your customers come back, that you retain your customers and that they are loyal to you as well? What do you offer them? So this is where lifetime value and repeat business became important. And nowadays we're busy, we're very fickle, we get bored easily, and the internet, we're not, you know, if you look at it nowadays, we're not very patient. If something doesn't work, if something isn't available, we go somewhere else. Now there's a lot of technology out there in order to reach the customers, and again, you know, think about Facebook and Twitter. So, you know, marketeers have to think about the best marketing tool, the best way to market to us. And if you think about Facebook and if you think about the adverts on the side, a lot of them are actually especially aimed at you, what you like, what you do, what your likes and dislikes are on your Facebook website. So it's very, very specialized. And also, if you don't like it, we let the world know. And again, as I said before, if you write something on your wall, all your 250 friends are going to know about it. If we don't like it, we tell our friends about it. If we do like it, we tell our friends about it. But we tell more friends if we don't like something than we tell friends that we like something. If you now just look at a few definitions, so the Chartered Institute of Marketing defines marketing as a management process which identifies, anticipates, and supplies customer requirements efficiently and profitably. Makes sense? Marketing is the process of planning and executing the concept, pricing, promotion, distributing of ideas, goods and services. Again, we come to product and service here, to create exchange and satisfy individual, so your customers, and organizational objectives. Again, you know, that's what we talked about before. This is what marketing, this is what the idea of marketing is. To conclude this first part, marketing isn't new. Marketing has been around since forever. Marketing has even been around, you know, since before we started talking about, you know, the wealth of the nation. The concept has developed over time, so it's gone from production oriented, where, you know, doesn't matter what we produce, people are going to buy it, to relationship marketing, all about retaining customers. The definition suggests a process. We need to consider how we market non-physical products, and we're going to talk about that in a bit more detail in the next part of this. And there's a lot of buyer power around. We have a very loud voice. If the consumers don't like it, they don't buy it, and organizations have to listen to this. Because if we boycott, as consumers, if we boycott an organization, we let the world know. Okay, here are just some of the references I used, and obviously there's quite a bit around online as well. And then this is the end of the first part of the lesson, so I'd suggest just take it all in, take a break, and then when you get back we'll talk about services marketing, what it is, traditional and contemporary marketing mixes, and then you will or can start on your group homework for next week, and I go through that, and it's also available on Blackboard.